Yo, what is going on, guys? It's been a minute. My fault. If I'm being honest, I kind of like ran out of things that I knew I needed to record and whatnot. I've pretty much wrapped up the series on just climbing in the game and all the things that I think people should focus on their journey from bronze to champ plus. Um, so I am going to be doing this first episode, right? I'm gonna be starting the coaching series. This is gonna be episode one, and kind of like covering the previous series, we started with the most basics of the basics in terms of like game sense, and that's what this whole series is gonna be about. More so the mechanics because that was pretty much covered with the last series. Um, so in the first series, I covered settings first because settings are super important for mechanics. Likewise, in this series, I'm going to be starting with mentality for game sense, right? All right, let's jump right into it. This is going to be a super basic, visually probably unappealing, so I'm going to jump around, do some flips and stuff while I talk. So immediately jumping into it, I want to talk about the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset, right? So the growth mindset is coming from a position of when you're playing your games, you're not telling yourself, oh, I'm hard stuck flat. I've been here for 2 years and I can't get out, it seems. It's reshaping and challenging yourself rather than looking outwards and comparing to everybody else, right? So, growth mindset is I can improve so long as I practice, right? One of the quotes that I said in a previous episode, in the last series, right, is a lack of confidence is a lack of practice, right? If you are not confident in your games, it's going to mess up your mechanics because you're going to start hesitating a lot more and, you know, not going for stuff when you should, because you don't believe that you have the control to go exactly when you need to, when you think you need to, whatever. You and sometimes it's just lack of experience, not being able to read bounces, for example. But getting out of the fixed mindset of I'm permanently locked in this position. There's nothing I can do. I'm just going to blame my teammates and be here for the next 3 years, kind of thing. Get that out. Take some accountability. Look in and compare to your previous self, not compared to your teammates, your randoms, your enemies, whatever. And this is something I struggle with, which is what this whole video is structured on, right? Is just bringing awareness to these things and keeping myself accountable, but hopefully in the process of me going through it, it helps you guys. Um, but yeah, let's go to the next thing, which is handling the loss and avoiding tilt. Recently, I've started like coaching a bit more seriously some of my friends that I've met over the years who are, well, one of them's in like mid diamond, the other one is high plat, I believe, right? Which is making mistakes such as like we were just talking about is hesitating and jumping late and then it being a mistake because you waited so long to then commit, right? Making those mistakes isn't completely in vain, and part of handling and accepting loss is just reframing it as learning something, right? You didn't lose, you got better, and you'll take it to your next game and your next game and your next game. So the next part of this is kind of the more difficult part, which is avoiding tilt, right? You'll hear the same advice pretty much always, which is if you're on a 5-game losing streak, you're having a bad day, things at school, work, relationships, whatever aren't going in your favor, and you're not having a good day at all, right? You're gonna be in a poor mental state. You're gonna make more mistakes that you normally wouldn't. And avoiding tilt sometimes just means even though obviously a lot of players gaming is like their escape from reality, you have to walk away. You have to play something that's not competitive if you're going to keep playing games. So playing games like, I don't know, Minecraft, Roblox, those kinds of, I mean, there's some competitive stuff in those, but you know, something that's far less just outright competitive tilting. Go play something else. Go out, touch some grass, see what the family's up to, see how everyone's doing, whatever you have to do, and just take a break. And I challenge y'all, like, in that time, if you do decide to, get off games entirely and walk outside, touch some grass, in that time that you're using and you feel like you're wasting time by not pushing and climbing, think about things that you can improve on, because I guarantee you they're there. Um, or at the very least, if you're not gonna leave the game and you still want to improve and not go mess around with some other game, do some video analysis, right? Save your replay, watch it clearly, and just point out things that you think you made a mistake on or you could have done better. Um, Another thing too is like in the moment of games, you might yell at your teammate and blame them, but watching replays from their perspective, a lot of the time will like actually kind of dumbfound you because you're like, dang, that's actually my bad, right? Um, Sex one's little little specific for certain players, just because I have some people that I play with that I can audibly hear them in the Discord per se, where they're just holding their breath for like 2 minutes in the game and trying their absolute best to do everything. Staying calm under pressure is a huge thing. Um, and I bet that there's probably a ton of you that might watch this video and go, "Oh, that's not me. I'm the most confident player ever. I never get scared." Bruh. Come on. Everyone has their moments, man. Some more than others. It comes with just playing more and more. Like I said, the lack of confidence is a lack of practice. The more practice you get in, the more confident you'll be, the less, hitched you'll feel in those high pressure moments. Um, let's see. Developing patience. Hmm. This is a big one because this is what gives people a lot of like anxiety and going directly off the saying calm under pressure is you have to be calm not to not only be patient but to not just completely throw, right? Where you're making panic play after panic play, you're nose diving and throwing yourself out of position. Your teammates are in a worse spot because of it. Your teammate had the ball and nobody on the enemy team was near him, and you just went and dove in and stole it from him for no reason. That's panic, right? Um, this is a really, really big one. Let me pull this up real quick. Okay. This is probably the next like big one. I'm gonna try and be quick here because I'm running out of my time that I set for myself. All right. Playing to improve, not just to win. I had a conversation with a younger fella that I met over this game through a friend of a friend, but I'm not gonna name names. Um, But you know, he was struggling with this where he was chasing the shiny goal up there, the shiny rank, um, and not actually caring per se about how he was actually getting there, right? So in school, this is my best analogy. In school, students care heavily about the shiny A, right? Getting an A in math, getting an A in science, whatever it is, right? They care so much about getting that shiny, blue ribbon participation, yada yada, and they care less and less about actually learning the material and knowing the information that allowed them to get the A, right? Same exact scenario in Rocket League. People will think that, when you hit, let's say, for example, Plat Diamond, right? That to get to Diamond or to get to Champ, they need to do all these crazy mechs, and that if I can just do these one things, then I'll be able to push higher, right? And that's just not the case. Getting a higher rank is not only comparing your current self to your previous self, right? It's not losing track of the basics. And I highlight this so much in the previous series. Doing flip resets and musty double taps, ceiling shot, triple quad, stall flip resets, whatever, is cool. It's fun. If that's what makes the game entertaining for you, um, shoot for it, because sometimes it'll take you longer for sure to climb, but you will become a better player in the journey of having fun, right? To learn those higher mechs, and you'll passively become more consistent and just better overall at the basics. But you can't forget to practice them. Okay, I ranted on way too long for that. I kind of made a talking point of this, but we'll go over it again. The importance of confidence, right? You have to practice, practice, practice at everything to be confident. Simply fixing your lack of confidence in this game can take you up, depending on where you are. Let's say you're plat, can take you up to diamond, maybe even champ, right? You could literally skip whole ranks just by being confident in your touches. But like I said, that takes time and practice. Um, Sorry, guys. Um, yeah, you're not gonna just magically overnight gain confidence and be the Steph Curry of Rocket League or whomever you think is the best NBA player. Anyway, my last thing that I wanted to talk on, and I gotta be quick about, is staying motivated in the long term. Right, this is a game that's been out for almost a decade. Um, in that decade, players have gotten thousands upon thousands of hours in the game of practice. So especially if you're just starting, or if you're on the, I guess, like lower side of the average playtime, which is probably somewhere around 1,000 hours, um, it's gonna take a long time to catch up to people. But that's not what I want you guys to focus on. Like I said, compare to your previous self, not compare your current self to your previous self, not your teammates, your opponents, whatever. Um, and just enjoy the process. Enjoy looking at things that you can improve on, because that is what will accelerate you faster than everybody else. Is having fun, but having intention and a path that you have set in your head that you can envision to improvement, right? But that's it for this video. I have no idea when I'm gonna be getting my small group of friends in on a training sesh, a coaching sesh. But I do plan on doing some videos, going over some replays with them and seeing what they could improve on. Um, and yeah, hopefully it opens some people's eyes to like what game sense can kind of look like and what mistakes they make, even though they're in diamond, mid diamond, high plat kind of area. Those small things that add up, right? All right, I went way over my limit, but that's okay. Thank you guys for watching. If you benefited in any shape or form from this information, um, remember to like and comment. I'm gonna be asking like what you guys struggle with, whatever, and some video ideas, right? What to cover over. Anyway, take it easy. Appreciate you guys. Peace.